Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Mindset. Today I'm going to be sharing a replay of an inspiring interview that I did with one of the mentors in the Healthy Real Food program. Angela Adair is an amazing example of what's possible for you when you embrace the success framework of mastering your mindset, developing a winning strategy, and consistently executing your plan. Angela achieved her goal body and is now one of the amazing mentors that we have in the Healthy Real Food community. In this Zoom call, Angela shares her success secrets that helped her to achieve her goal body despite having 7 kids and homeschooling and any other excuse you can think of when you're a mom of little kids, right? She's such an inspiration. So here is the replay of my interview with Angela Adair. This is the Healthy Real Food Podcast. I'm your coach, Erin Hart, a registered nurse and health coach who understands the struggle of feeling out of control around food and has walked the path of transformation, experiencing the miracle of sustainable weight loss with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. If you are a woman who feels powerless against your cravings and is ready to live your life with more energy, mental clarity, and purpose, there is hope. Here we believe that with God, a mindset of unstoppability, and consistent execution of a winning strategy, anything is possible for you. So if you're ready to find freedom from food addiction, take control of your health, and pursue your dreams with renewed energy, support, and accountability, let's go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Monday Mindset. My name is Erin Hart. I am a registered nurse and a health coach. I lost over 100 pounds with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. And my mission is to help other women who are like me, people who struggle with their relationship with food, who feel out of control around their food and want to find more peace with their body. And so I'm so excited. Today we have Angela Adair. She is one of my good friends who has been my client the past. I can't even remember when we started working together. Has it been 2 years now?
About 2.5. Yeah.
2.5 years. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So we started working together 2.5 years. We knew each other a little bit before then from Facebook. Before then, I'll have you share your story, Angela. But Angela is just so inspiring. So she went through the Year of You program, the coaching program in our Healthy Real Food program, and achieved her goal body, became one of our amazing mentors, and is just so inspiring. And what I love about Angela is that she just has no excuses she just doesn't let any excuse hold her back from what's possible for her in her life. She has 7 kids. She homeschools. She has lots of other, responsibilities in her community, and she makes this lifestyle work. So a lot of times, like when we're starting a healthy real food lifestyle and freeing ourselves from sugar and flour, it can feel overwhelming and it can feel like, I don't know if I have time to do this. But Angela is just an amazing example of how no matter what obstacles that we have holding us back from our dream of living in our goal body and having peace with food, we can overcome them. So Angela, go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself and show us your baby. He is so cute. He's 3 months old.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
fun. So yeah,
Um,
Angela, tell us a little bit about you.
Part of my journey, I was just watching at first, I was watching Erin with her journey, and she just inspired me. I thought, how can she do this with 2 little kids? And just watching her just transform over that year just gave me so much confidence that this was a wonderful program that I could do, especially being a mom. And I decided to take her challenge and join her year of you. So that was a big risk for me. I did put some money into it and I did make a commitment. And I asked my husband if he could support me in this and my family. So we jumped in as a family because if I was buying the food, they were going to eat it. And they made some big changes with me. And so I started that December 26th in 2000. That would be 23. So it's been 2 years. And something that spurred that was that I was pregnant with my sixth child, which now I was 39 and I got gestational diabetes and it freaked me out. I had family members that had heart attacks. My dad had one, and my mom and both he and my mom had been on the borderlines of diabetes. And I just thought, here I am. I'm not even in my 40s yet. And here we go. And so it woke me up. The thing is, I did it for my baby that I needed to get off sugar. And I remember just those raw feelings of I need help. I really need somebody that understands this because I feel like I'm crying over not my food all the time. And I don't understand why these feelings are in me like that. It's ridiculous. My kids would be like, Mom, why are you crying? And I'm like, it's hard. It's so hard. You guys don't even know how hard this is to not indulge. But anyway, so that kind of woke me up. And I really thought that was going to be my last baby. So I just thought, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm done having kids. I am going to get in my right size body. I'm just not going to live with regret any longer. And so we worked together. Erin and I worked together that whole year. I rarely missed any calls. I was just really full of just goodness because it was working. Everything was working for me. And I didn't lose a lot of weight at the very beginning. It was about a pound a week. But throughout that whole year, I just really started getting into my maintenance mode. And then, lo and behold, I had a feeling to have another baby. So talk about a game changer. That was really act of faith to be almost to that sweet spot, perfect. And then all of a sudden I know I'm going to start again.
Yeah, you thought you were done having kids, but now
So
this little miracle, this little guy. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Angela, it's so amazing. And I remember when you started, and I remember when we were talking, and I remember feeling the same way you did when I started, right? I think all of us lack the confidence. Can I really do this? I've tried and failed so many times in the past, but it really, that's the power of community and mentorship is like seeing someone who's been successful at what you're trying to do and just saying like, "Why not me? If she can do it, like, I could do it," right? Like, I'm not special, um, I'm not special. If I can do it, you can do it, right? If Angela can do it, you can do it. So, there's really nothing different about us than other than, you know, we did it. So so it's totally possible for anyone to achieve your goal body, and we're gonna talk a little bit today about some of the tips that Angela has and I have about that can help you in that process if that's the goal that you have. But I think the first step is really just believing that it's possible. And one of the ways that we can overcome our lack of confidence is just seeing that someone else has done it. So if someone else can do it, why not me? That's one of my favorite mantras. So, yeah, the Year of You is just what Angela is talking about is our coaching program here in the Healthy Real Food program. And it's just a year to dedicate to achieving your health goals. Transformation takes time. And a year when I started my health journey too, I used to be 284 pounds. And and I was just like Angela, right? A mom, a caregiver, just I personally was overwhelmed with my life, and I just used food to cope, and I got to the point where I'd gained over 100 pounds, like 120 pounds in 10 years, and it was at that time that I just became sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you hit that place where you're ready. It's like where you get to that threshold where you just can't go on living like this any longer. And, oh, for me, that was when one day when I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself in the mirror anymore. Like, what was Angela, you talked a little bit about, like, why you decided to start a sugar and flour-free lifestyle with seeing your family struggle, but what was that moment for you where you just decided that you were gonna declare the year of you? Like, what changed for you that helped you to make that decision?
I think just seeing a vision of what I could become. I think that's the biggest goal is to have a vision of this person that you truly want to be You don't know how to get there yet, right? But you have a plan, you have a coach. But just I could see this person that I wanted to become. And I've been that before, but I wanted to become that for my family, especially for my teenage daughter that was going down that same path. That was really hard to watch her gaining weight. And these feelings, these raw feelings were coming up in me saying, oh my goodness, if I don't break this now, then she's going to follow those paths. And then my son was getting that way. And I was just watching this cycle. And I thought, I'm the mom of all these kids. And they're all going to go down that same path if I don't change. So I have to break the chain right now so that they can change. And you should see how different they look too. It hasn't just been me. It's been my whole family. Even my husband has some diabetic problems and they're gone. And I just think it's incredible. We are the gatekeeper of our home and we bring in all the food and we bring in certain, I call them drugs, but we are drug dealer at times. There was just some parts of me that I had to wake up and it was like, you got to change it now or they're going to follow that path and then they're going to have their own issues later in life too. I guess that's when it really hit me, change now, because they're hitting adolescence.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I love how you phrase that, just being the gatekeeper of our homes. And for those of us that are moms, well, yeah, we know the struggle. But one of the best ways we can influence our family, like we can't do it for our family. We can't do it for them. They have to make the choices. But like the best way is to show them, to be that example. And that's the best way to influence our family is through not just our words, but our action and helping to create that environment for them where they can also be their healthiest self. That's amazing. When a mom transforms herself, it really does affect generations. It's not just one person that's affected.
It was interesting because when I first was pregnant with my last baby, I obviously was struggling with that PTSD. I had some food thoughts and different things. And I was just like, I feel like this so bad right now. It was something milk related. So I knew I just needed milk, but it was something that I added that actually had sugar in it too. And my daughter was like, Mom, you do not eat that anymore. You cannot have that. And oh, she didn't know that I don't do that anymore. That's my new identity. I love that. It was just such a wake up call to me to be like, oh yeah, see? Wonderful.
Oh, that's so neat. Yeah, I feel like a big part of achieving success is surrounding yourself with people that are supportive. And it's so cute that you're a cute daughter. Is that person for you in that moment that had become your identity? Because for a lot of people, when we start this lifestyle and stop eating sugar and flour, it doesn't really feel like our identity yet. We're pretending um to be healthy, right? Like at least that's how I felt when I was still 284 pounds and someone would offer me sugar and flour and I would say, "Oh, I don't eat that." It felt like pretending at that point, like it wasn't really my identity, but that's how we build a healthy identity is just by making small decisions over time that add up until one day that is your identity and to become a healthy person, first we just have to pretend to be that person to be healthy and then with time becomes our identity and the people around us help to support that identity when they see our consistency. That's so neat to have such a supportive husband and kids that have helped you. I love what you also talked about, Angela, like with the power of vision and having that deep reason why to fuel you because the taking your life to the next level, a lot of people want to achieve their health goals, but very few people do. And what I found is so key to success is the success framework that we teach, mastering your mindset, developing a winning strategy, and consistent execution. But it's your mindset. Like most of what holds us back from achieving our health goals is just between our two ears. And what you said about vision is one of the most important things I think that I teach in the coaching program and is just having understanding the power of vision stepping into the future version of yourself that you want to create. We can create the lives that we want for ourselves. And when you look at yourself and your current trajectory, where is that leading you? What's the result of that? And so we want to look at our current trajectory. And if it's not going to where we want to go, if that's not the life that we want, we can change our trajectory. We can create whatever reality we want for our future. And just having that hope to know that change is possible and that even if we've tried and failed countless times, it doesn't mean that we can't be successful going forward. We have to have that faith in it, in a vision, a compelling future of what we are striving for. So I love how you talked about that because how you master your mindset really is just getting clear on your vision, what you're wanting to achieve, and then finding the deep reason why to help you to keep going even when it gets hard, even when you aren't motivated and you don't feel like doing it. We have to have that deep reason why. Because a third of the time in your health journey, it's going to be really fun and exciting. You're going to feel motivated. A third of the time, it gets a little boring and mundane, like the honeymoon wears off and it's just wash, rinse, repeat. And then a third of the time, it's really hard and you get discouraged and you want to quit and you give up and you have to go through that fire to really be able to get to where you want to go. But it's in those hard moments that we really have to have a deep reason why that will help us to keep going. So for you, Angela, you talked about how that was your family. And how would you define like your reason why that you started and the why that helps you to keep going even now?
I think if you believe in a higher faith, I think we need his help. And part of it was, I know Erin probably was uncomfortable. Maybe she was not uncomfortable, but I was like, Erin, we need to pray. We need to pray. I need help on this. So we said a prayer together when we first started, and I give it all to God because he really did help me create a why. And I sat there for a while after I prayed and I wrote down my why. And I think that's really when it just triggered me that I needed his help, but also that anchored me because I knew that he knew I knew and that he was going to help me through this. And so um, I just went back to some of the promises of why I needed a healthy body and why I needed a healthy and clean mind. And I just, I think that was my truly, it sounds like it's simple, but it really truly anchored into my soul of my why. And that I needed to be alert, aware, and not be drugged up and not have a pity party. I needed to be ready so that he could use me in whatever way is possible. And so I just surrendered in that moment where I was like, hey, why now? And I know why. And so I did do the deep why exercise. And I think we all have our own self missions that is a God given mission for us on this earth. And so that was part of it as well, as I feel like I had to go to that and write down the 7 layers deep of why. And I love that video. I found his little interview, King Graciosi's video, and that really helped me understand how deeper I needed to go. And so I just went to that worksheet that Erin gave me and I just went all the way through that. And I think that was something to remember as I was in those hard moments, or I was with family, or I had to review that quite often. Just so that was a personal scripture to me. This is why you're doing it, and write it down. So I have a little prayer journal, and I still have that prayer that day, and I look at it all the time. I looked at it before I even got on today, and it just reminds me of those feelings. So journaling is so important throughout the journey too, because I can go to that and remember exactly the dire need that I was in that prayer. And I wrote the answer that came that morning. And I cry when I read it. And it just helps you. So I think just surrendering to God also helps so much because he wants you to be happy. He wants so much for you to be happy. That's part of mine.
Oh, Angela, I cannot agree with you more. I feel like making God part of your program for me too uh, it was really what gave me the strength to keep going in those hard moments, like when I felt like quitting we just have to rely on that strength above our own. That I really do believe that all of us have a higher purpose to our lives than weight obsession and food obsession. God has a purpose for our lives, and while a lot of times we start this health journey, like, just with wanting to look cute in jeans or just wanting to feel better or get off medications, like, those are really great reasons, but they're not enough to keep you going when it really gets hard. When you can get deep with your why and really understand how achieving your health goals not only affects you, but how it can influence and help you to fulfill your life's purpose. It really can help us to keep going when it's not easy. We can't rely on motivation to stick to our plan. Like, if you think motivation is going to get you to your goal body, it's just not going to happen. Like, the way that we achieve our goal body is we have to really have the ability to take action even when we don't feel motivated. And the way that we do that is like falling back on our deep why. So I'm so glad that you shared that, because I agree. Making God part of your program, looking at your true life's purpose, like, why are you even here on earth? And how can being in a healthy body help you to fulfill your life's purpose? It can really help us to, when we're tempted or having those food thoughts, to to choose to stay on our plan. And it's those small decisions that add up into an incredible transformation like you had, Angela. So what are some of the obstacles and challenges that you encountered on your journey, and how did you overcome them?
Part of it was the tiredness at night. If I was really tired and somebody was bringing home not my food, and I just had to make something. I've had to have a plan and have some lifelines, I call them, so that I'm not tempted when I'm tired, especially at night. My biggest challenge was that as soon as I got to that body feeling so hopeful as when I got pregnant again. And that was the big, if you want to challenge, to see if you're really split at bread at my meeting, then get pregnant. I'm not suggesting it for everyone, but it was really a challenge for me to figure out what I could do and how I could stay mentally, because it really was my mindset. My body doesn't need any sugar or flour, but it's my mind that always would trigger back since I've had so many children in that mindset. But just being tired, that's my biggest obstacle. So, like tonight, for instance, it's a busy day. I had something already made in the fridge that was ready to go. So I just put it in the oven, and even my kids will eat it. It was just a chicken pot pie from Laurie Longgreen's Tasty Freedom. And I love it because I already prepped it yesterday. So things, just giving yourself some grace and giving yourself a game plan has been really helpful. Going to parties and whatnot, I would get really nervous, especially with my family, because they're all foodie people and they're really, let's plan together this food. And I was like, okay, I'll plan my own. But I would always bring fresh fruit, always. Even if it's a night party and I was pregnant and I needed it, so I'd always bring fresh fruit, and I would not put it out for everyone either. I'd put it by my seat. Because as soon as I would get in the line, it would be gone. The little kids would take all of my fruit and I'd get so mad. So I leave it by my seat and kind of hide it there until it's time for dessert. And then I would pull out my fruit. And the same thing goes with if I needed to bring a salad with no dressing, or I had my own special dressing, I would always just bring my own food. That's just what I did. I'm trying to think of any other really hard things, but really I felt like it wasn't as hard as I made it to be in my mind. It wasn't that hard to make yourself a priority. I just make sure that I have my food and that we have plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables in my house a lot. My daughter came home from being with her grandma and she said, she doesn't have any strawberries. She doesn't have any onions. She doesn't have any vegetables. She just had these waxy apples. That's all she had. Mom, why do we have so many good foods? And I thought, not everybody shops like we do. But I alwamake sure we have staple like that in our refrigerator. I do grocery online shopping and they bring it to my door every week. So I just make sure that I have food in my house because that's where my brain starts creating chatter, right? When you're hungry and you're hangry and you need stuff. So I have just my staples on hand a lot of the time.
Yes.
And
Yeah, the online grocery shopping changed my life. It's just amazing. You shop on your phone and they bring it to your door and or even bring it onto your counter. Like it's so amazing and helps really to save willpower. But one of the themes that I heard from what you were saying was just like bypassing willpower by planning and preparing ahead of time, like making sure you're creating an environment of success for yourself by having healthy foods available, having a plan when you anticipate those obstacles. We were talking about this in our group coaching call today, like anticipating those obstacles. Sometimes, like family parties or traditions that are all centered around food, it can be challenging to stay on plan, so we wanna decide how we're gonna handle that before we get there, and I love how you've found what works for you is just, like, bringing your own food and yeah, just not relying on willpower, right? Like, we have to planning and preparation ahead of time really is just the key to success with this lifestyle. You can't decide in the moment when your willpower depleted and you're tired, if it's not a good time to make a healthy decision, like, in that state. So, we wanna make a decision with the higher part of our brain, and we can do that. The part of our brain that can think long term about our goals and our deep why turns off when we're in that fight or flight mode or when we're stressed or tired. So, we have to make our food decisions beforehand when we are in that state of our highest mind.
it really did help me. One of the things that I've used as a tool is the Bright Line Eating Magnet. I bought that on Amazon at the very beginning of my journey, and I have kept it on my fridge. And it has been wonderful because that my go-to planner. If I forget how much nuts were for my fat or for my protein, like sometimes I get those two confused because one is 2 ounces, one is 1 ounce. And so I just have a really quick reference on my phone. I mean, on my phone, on my fridge and it helps me. Like I really, I know it's a little bit of money, but it's been one of my biggest tools that I've used because it's just right on my fridge and I can use it to plan my meals. So that's been a really good success for me is having that right there.
Yes, yeah, that is an awesome tool. Yeah, I think it's really important to have that food list so that you don't have to try to guess, like, how much each food weighs. So, yeah, a lot of people that come into my world, like, come from Bright Line Eating, and I'm not endorsed by them or I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but my program's similar is like that food addiction recovery program, right? Like, where we have our meal plans and we have our food list and we eat our sugar and flour-free foods in weighed and measured quantities. Like, it's just such a empowering lifestyle, and it's so important to find those little tips and tricks that I love you sharing those sorts of things because I feel like it's so helpful for people that are just starting to know what helped you to achieve success. So one of the things that we have in the program that's similar to that little magnet is just like our food list, the healthy real food list. It's like the compliant food list. It just tells every food that's sugar and flour free and what category it falls under, protein, starches, fruits, vegetables, and fats, and how much a serving weighs so you don't have to like so it just helps you because in the beginning, it's a little bit of a learning curve, right, when you're starting this lifestyle. But what would you say, Angela, like, after a few weeks, it starts to feel like second nature, right? It's not so hard to figure out how much each food weighs, what to eat, like, the first couple weeks can be a little challenging, but what tips do you have? What advice can you share with the group to help them with their program? Like, specifically if someone's just starting or if they're struggling, what are some other tools and advice that you would have to give?
I think with surrounding yourself with your lifelines, I call them. I have one friend that it was the very beginning and we went on a trip and I just cried to her and I was like, help me through this. All my family is out eating and I'm crying at the pool because I can't have it. And so I called her and she helped me as well. Just having a buddy is a huge success. And somebody who I feel like you need a buddy who gets it. You can't have a buddy that doesn't understand because I feel like I have some siblings or some other people that don't have this food addiction and they don't understand why I'm crying or why it's so hard. I had to find somebody that understood how I felt so that they could understand how to support me and help me. And the other thing is I jumped onto different communities with Facebook groups. I would look up if I was needing to do certain things that I was going to a party and what was I supposed to bring? What is a compliant food? What should be helpful? I learned through other people's experiences. And so I really surrounded myself with that. I watched a lot of coaching calls. I tried to really be upfront with myself and vulnerable and tell my husband, I'm having food thoughts. I'm really struggling right now. I just was vulnerable in that way, just so that he could see that I was struggling. Because when you're in a weak point and you don't tell anyone, that is when you hide. And that is when you binge and do different things that I needed to be transparent so that I could heal and that I could use a different brain path for that one. The other thing is I didn't go down some of those same paths and habits that I would do in town. My kids would want something after school and we go through a drive-through. And I knew I was fighting this, but I wanted to help appease them. So I'd always get a lemon water, a big, extra large lemon water. And so I wasn't feeling resentful. I got in my lemon water and drank it my whole way home. And so my brain shut off in that moment instead of it just saying that I didn't get to have anything or do anything. I don't know. I just learned different tricks that way to calm my brain down because it really is your brain. Your brain's going to start sabotaging you or telling you lies or telling you different things. And you fed them for so many years where you've done the same habit. So I'd have to go down a different road or I'd have to go to the library. I would distract my brain a lot. But the other thing that I would do is I looked up I know that they say not to have a ton of good recipes, just to eat whole foods or whatnot, but it was just comforting to me at the very beginning to have a good recipe, to have a good muffin recipe, to have a banana bread recipe that's no sugar, no flour, or I make the lasagna out of spaghetti squash and cottage cheese. And I know exactly the servings because the lady figured it out for me. Laurie has been wonderful as a mentor for those recipe books of Tasty Freedom. That really helped me a lot because it gave me a little bit of comfort when I was struggling at the beginning, just getting out of my food addiction. I don't know. Those are probably my biggest tips. I also don't make extra for my family. If I'm eating something, I make what I'm eating for them too. So they have to learn to love it because that's what we eat now. And we don't have dessert after every meal like we used to. And this is the rules. We have watermelon or we have some fruit or and that's amazing. I used to be the baking queen and now I'm not. I don't do it anymore. We go and do other things together. So anyway, those are some tips. I'm not perfect at all the tips, but those are the ones that helped me throughout my journey.
Oh, yeah, Angela, those are so helpful because a lot of us have other people at home that we live with, and they may or may not eat the way that we do. But I think that's such a helpful tip. Like when you are the one that is preparing the meals, that's awesome because you have control, you have power, and you can, yeah, create healthy meals for your family too. You don't have to make two separate meals. A lot of people have that question, like, how do I live a sugar and flour free lifestyle when I have a family? And yeah, like for me, I don't make my kids sugar and flour free or my husband or anything like but I create an environment in my home where we were just like don't have a lot of that stuff. If they want to eat it outside of the home, I really don't have control of that and I don't make a big deal of that for them. But like inside of our home, I try to do the same like you talked about, Angela, is just I don't make two meals. Like you just make your meal and take it or leave it, right?
Mhm.
And just like having a little bit of every food group if I find it helpful if I don't have a starch in my dinner plan, like I'll often have a starch for them with rice or potatoes or like something for them or pasta or something that I might not usually eat. There's so many ways to make it work when you have a family. There are a lot of meals like tacos, right? That you can make an amazing taco salad for yourself and just for your family, maybe get them some shells or something. Or pasta, you just have zoodles for you and then pasta for them. And then, but everything is pretty much the same way. So I don't know if that, but it sounds like, so did you just like your whole family stopped eating sugar and flour, or how do you handle that with your kids? Do they still eat sugar and flour?
Yes, they do. I've got 5 boys, and they yeah, their food, but I don't put an emphasis on it. They know how I feel about it. I don't buy certain cereal. They all eat Bran Flakes. That's just what they eat, and they're fine with it. They don't care. They actually enjoy it. There's just some foods I just don't buy anymore. If they want to buy them, they buy them on their own, and they buy them and they go into their friend's house, like you said, wherever their junk food. I still take them to In-N-Out Burger and I get a lettuce wrap burger or whatever.
Yeah.
There's some places that we go together and they know just how I eat. And so that's just what I do. But it's funny because they start doing what you're doing or what you're doing. So I love lettuce or what is it? Hamburger salads. I just love that. That's just my family likes hamburgers. So we make it. I make a huge hamburger salad and I've got 3 kids that make hamburger salads too. Kids and how they eat them. They don't even look at the bun anymore. So it's just, you just have no idea the kind of effect that you're having on your loved ones. And I did have to tell them, keep my eyes on my own plate. I've talked to them a lot about that because they'll start picking at other people and be like, did you see what they were eating? And I'm like, but that's their choice. So I had to teach them about keeping your eyes on your own plate and you don't have to pick everybody but apart just because they ate that. So we've had some good learning experiences together, but anyway, that's just
Yeah,
it's
I love how
refreshing.
you handle that because I think that we do have to be careful, especially with small kids and little kids. We don't want to create more issues by totally restricting them from sugar and flour. They don't have the same food issues that we do, but I think generally the best way to help our family is, yeah, to model that healthy behavior, create an environment, a healthy environment around them. And then, yeah, just teaching them through your example. So those are some really great tips. And just for,
Sorry.
oh, go on.
I was just gonna say it's good for them to watch me weigh my food. And I tell them that it's not that it's a lot of times is because I don't get enough food. And
Yeah,
my
that's
brain
what
is
I tell my
broken.
kids too. When I
Yeah.
first started making my food, they would be like, "Mom, why are you weighing your food?" And yeah, to me, weighing our food, it's not restrictive. I'm not restricting how much I'm eating. I'm making sure I'm eating enough. So I just try to tell them I'm trying to make sure I'm getting enough vegetables and stuff like that. I love that. I think it's important to help them to understand because it can, I think, if you go about it in a different way, that could be something that could potentially be hard for kids to understand. But when in our family, we just try to have the verbiage, we're just making healthy choices. I really don't talk about weight loss or anything like that. We just talk about like making healthy choices so that we can have good energy and just encouraging those healthy behaviors and then letting them make the decisions, not making it a big deal if they don't aren't totally sugar and flour free. It's a hard balance, I think. But the kids will be fine, right? But one of the things I also love that you mentioned was just replacing the rewards. So like when you talked about going to those places after school, just like replacing the reward with something different for your brain, like the big ice water with lemon and yeah, just finding different pathways. When you recognize a trigger, we gotta replace the reward and find a different way to so that you can distract yourself and not go down those old pathways. And that's how we create those new pathways in our brain.
Sometimes it's not always sugar and flour. I have a trigger with fried food sometimes.
Yeah.
First was pregnant, I was just like, I need fried food because it was a comfort food. And even though it was compliant in some way, it made me feel gross. And I thought, it's not just sugar and flour, it's also just the bad fats and the bad foods too that you have to, those were triggers for me that I didn't realize. So those are things that I have to work through as well.
Yeah. So it's so fun that like you achieved your goal body and then you got pregnant, right? I'm sure that was just something you just didn't anticipate that was on your life plan, right? But so neat that you were able to experience the difference of going through a pregnancy sugar and flour free. And can you talk a little bit about that? What Tell us a little bit about how your life is different now compared to before you were sugar and flour free, like your previous pregnancies compared to this pregnancy and before you started the program compared to living your life in maintenance. What what's different for you?
I think the biggest thing was I just remember one of my takeaways. It was around 4th of July and I cried over some food and whatever. And then I went to the doctor a week later and the doctor said, I think I'm going to take you off the obesity charts because you are just doing so great. And I said, holy cow, I'm 6 months pregnant. You're such a lady. That's wonderful. Thank you. And it was just like, that is when I found out I was diabetic with my other baby. And here he's telling me I'm not on the obesity chart. It just was such a sweet moment to me because he would bring in nurses. He made me feel so good because he saw me so suffering in my last pregnancy. And he would just say, wow, you look so different. And you look at your charts. I guess to me, it was like a big win for me, a non-scale victory, just because he was like validating my whole new pregnancy and what was happening. And because I was over 40, obviously they're wanting to do more tests and you're a higher risk. And he was like, this is the best pregnancy you've had. It just was such a testimony to me that it works. And it was just amazing. I usually at this point, I'm usually about 30 pounds more after a pregnancy. And I am 4 pounds away from the highest of my goal range for my last pregnancy or from my body.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. I'm like, oh my goodness, people are just so gracious to tell me, you can't even tell. You can't tell. And I fit in all those. It's just an incredible gift to myself. I didn't think that I could do it. Honestly, mentally, I thought I'm not going to get through this. And it just was a wonderful surprise and a wonderful gift to me. Just seeing the pictures was just outstanding. I just thought, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how swollen I was and how big I was with my last baby. And with this one, I went clear up to the due date and I felt great. So I actually thought I could go even longer. I was like, oh, this is okay. I don't know how comfortable, but it's not horrible. But
Oh
it
my
was,
gosh.
yeah, it was. And so this time I'm going to jump back into my weight loss plan just because I have a little more around my midsection that I would like to just had some baby weight. But I'm excited. I'm going to go to the Bright Conference and I'm going to stand up there and achieve my biggest dream and goal. So I'm excited for just this. Anyway, it just was a wonderful gift for me.
Oh, Angela, that's such a huge win. So incredible. And it's so neat also that you can see the difference between those 6 pregnancies when you weren't sugar and flour free and this one, which is your last one. How, yeah, what a huge victory. Like, I'm just so proud of you. I just am so grateful to have you in our community. And as one of our mentors, you're just so inspiring. And I think it's so important, like you said, to surround yourself with people who understand the struggle. And that's the power of community. That's the power of if you want to transform your life, you gotta like proximity is power. You want to surround yourself with people who are succeeding and living the life the way that you want to live, where it becomes normal. You're not weird. Like we're all doing this. This is our norm. Because it is hard sometimes when the people in our lives that we love just maybe don't understand the struggle. So having someone who's empathetic and non-judgmental, um, and modeling that success is can give us that inspiration and the courage to believe that we can do it too. Thank you so much, Angela, for being a mentor in our community and for sharing your inspiring story and all of your tips and success secrets. It was so helpful. I just want to open it up to anyone in the chat. If you have any questions, thank you. Or first of all, thank you guys so much for coming and for participating in the Wednesday Wellness today. But I did want to open it up. So, does anyone have any questions for Angela? Maybe about your program, if you're just starting, or if you're facing an obstacle, or if you just want to share your main takeaway from the call today, that would be so great. So go ahead and either raise your hand or go ahead and put it in the chat. And while you guys do that, while you write in the chat, we do have some, sorry, I'm just trying to look through the chat, the notes here. We do have some comments in the chat here. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the past chats. Oh, great. So Carla she had the comment in the chat. I'm taking Wegovy and I've lost 42 pounds so far. I'm nervous about life after I go off of the medication. Oh, that is such a great question, Carla. Thank you for bringing that up because yeah, there are different weight loss medications out there right now, like Ozempic and Wegovy and things like that people are taking for weight loss. And and I think that there's a place for those. They can be really helpful. But like you said, Carla, one of the most important things that we have to do is create a lifestyle and the healthy habits so that we can maintain the weight loss after you go off of those sorts of medications. And it's not a lot of people who are on those medications just end up regaining all of the weight back and more, right? Because you haven't had the inner transformation and done that inner work. And also, we haven't created those healthy habits. Um, because in this community, in the healthy real food community, we're focused on not just changing the way that we eat, but also changing the way that we think. And I think that those two parts of the transformation process are so important. And so it's awesome that you've lost 42 pounds. And Angela, what advice would you have for someone who in Carla's situation?
No, one of the things I think is just backing up yourself, backing up if that's who your identity is going to be, then you have to back it up with these, I forget what you even call them, but you're proving to yourself that's how you're going to be for the rest of your life. I have some aunts that are on that and I am worried about them because they take the medication, but they're not following up with their food. And if they do go off the medication and they don't create that lifestyle, then it's not going to help them. And so I worry for them just because of that. But if you're doing both and you're really working towards that, I think that that is where the magic lies because you're really you're getting a kickstart. You're also being supportive in who your identity is. So
Yeah.
the whole food. I've never been addicted to carrots. I've never been addicted to squash or these things. God did not make the food that he made with addictive properties. And so in my head, I think I want to eat everything I can that doesn't have an addictive property. And I think that's why we have an abundance of food and abundance of things. But I think we can switch it and think, oh, I can't eat that. No, you can. You shouldn't. I don't know. That's just my thought because I've been watching a lot of people go back and forth and I feel like it's a good kickstart, but make sure you follow it up.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we got to get off of the dieting roller coaster. And we all know how painful it is to lose all the weight and gain it back. And right. And the way that we do that is to create a lifestyle mentality instead of this diet mentality. A diet is that you do something for a short amount of time and then you go back to eating the way you did before. And so I think in addition to what you're doing, just like adopting a healthy real food lifestyle, start practicing these principles of eating, a sugar and flour-free lifestyle from every food group in weight or measured quantities without snacking in between. That's how you can lose weight and keep it off long term is to start creating those habits and routines to support you throughout your life. and not just during the diet phase and then go back to. That's why so many people regain their weight, whether they're on a medication or they're not on a medication. It's because they haven't had the inner transformation, like Angela was talking about, the identity shift. It's not just about changing your behaviors, it's about creating a new identity. And journaling, like you were talking about, Angela, is such a powerful way to do that. Journaling and just consistency with the meal plan, surrounding yourself with a community of people to support you. So thank you for sharing that, Carla. LH said, I love everything that's been shared. Thank you, Angela and Erin. Oh, thanks for inspiring me. Thank you so much for coming. Lisa said, thanks for sharing. I'm just starting my year, so I appreciate all of the information and encouragement. Oh, Lisa, we're so excited for you and happy to have you in the community. Thank you guys so much for coming. Angela, thank you for all of your wisdom that you shared today. You are so inspiring, and your baby is so beautiful. And what a gift you are to your family. It is hard sometimes to prioritize our health when we are moms, when we're caregivers, when we have so many demands on us, but it is not selfish. What a gift to your family that you are able to now be able to show up with more confidence and health and wellness and help to not only change your health trajectory, but the trajectory of your family. Are there any last words of wisdom you want to leave us with today, Angela?
I've been feeling strongly to share this. So if you feel strongly to share it with others, once you get your feet wet, once you feel comfortable and confident, I really do feel like, and I've said this to my friends, I really feel like that there is an attack on women right now and probably throughout time. And if we can take back this, then we can have more confidence and we can do these things that bring us in a different power level. I think that we will be able to change lives and we'll be able to change the world. I really do. And I just have felt strongly that God has made these people in our lives be inspired so that we can find hope in the way that He needs us to find it. Maybe not the way that we thought, but the way that is going to help us practice sacrifice, help us practice just inner strength and getting stronger and stronger so that we can do more. So those are some of it wasn't just the food, it was mentally strong. My weakness became my strength. I went to a restaurant and walked through a whole section of sugar with my daughter and nothing called to me. Nothing. And that was incredible to me. What a gift that I have so much strength right now. That is probably my strongest point of my food plan is I am not addicted at all to anything anymore. So it's just what a gift to myself and a gift to my family. So I just think that it's time for us to rise. It's time for us to become. So anyway, that's just my last little push. You can do it. You can.
You do it. Oh, Angela, thank you for sharing because, like you said, it's not just a physical transformation. When you make the decision to free yourself from food addiction by living a healthy, real food lifestyle free from sugar and flour, it's not just a physical transformation that you experience. It's a mental, emotional, spiritual transformation as well. And it's such an amazing opportunity to show yourself what you can do. It's embrace the challenge. Show yourself how strong you are. And there are so many endless benefits to this. And so thank you so much for your inspiration, Angela. Thank you, Lisa, Cheryl, Carla. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming on the call today. And be sure to join us for our next next Wednesday Wellness. Okay, so really quick, just every Monday in the morning, 9 a.m., I have our Monday mindset. So you can find the replays of that, like inspiration education for your sugar and flour free lifestyle. That's on the Healthy Real Food podcast or in the Erin Hart Health Coaching YouTube channel. But then also in addition to that, this call, Wednesday Wellness, is the first Wednesday of the month. And this is a free call to anyone who wants to come and connect with us here on Zoom. 1 month we have an inspiring interview with people like Angela who have been through the process of transformation. and achieved their goal body. And so we can learn their success secrets. And then on the opposite months, we have a book club. And our next book club, I'm so excited. It is but so it's actually an Audible book, and you have to this is one that you do need to listen to, but it's on Audible, and it's Unleash the Power Within by Tony Robbins. And this is actually his live event that he does for $400. But he has put it on Audible, and it's only, I think, 11, $18 or something for the whole thing, and he still sells it for $400 to go to the live event. But this is a replay of it, and so Unleash the Power Within totally transformed my life when I was starting my health journey, and so I'm so excited to listen to that again with you guys. I encourage you to get it on Audible. It's Unleash the Power Within by Tony Robbins. And I think that it's just an amazing way to just help us to feel empowered to take our lives to the next level. So lots of fun tools and tips there. So that's what our book club will be for next month. So be sure to get that, start reading it, and join us on March. What is it? I think it is March 5th. We'll have our next Wednesday wellness call. So keep an eye out for that. All right, everybody. I love you all. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, thanks for having me. See you. Thank you so much, Angela. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love my coaching program. If you're struggling with your sugar and flour-free lifestyle and want to lose weight for the last time, I can help you. I guarantee that you achieve your goal body within a year, or I will coach you for free until you do. Just imagine living in your goal body and having peace with food. Your success is guaranteed. To learn more about how to get support, guidance, and accountability so you can find peace with food, achieve your goal body this year, and have more energy, visit www.healthyrealfood.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the upcoming free challenge to learn the success framework, and click the link to my schedule for a free 30-minute one-to-one coaching call so we can get you started on your success path. You have the power to create the life that you want. This is the year of you. I'm cheering you on. Now go win the day. You got this.